Alright, hello friends and welcome back to the Cozy Representative YouTube experience. So, if you are joining this video from Normieville, USA, there's a chance that you remember Cobra Starship from the one of two smash hit radio mainstream pop singles such as 2009's Good Girls Go Bad featuring Leighton Meester of Gossip Girl fame. Or the 2011 smash hit, Na 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 Na, You Make Me Feel So, whatever that song was called. You make me feel that. You make me feel so. You make me feel that. And as I'm assuming most of you are probably joining me from emo nerd paradise, most of you probably remember Cobra Starship from songs such as the smash hit scene crossover Snakes on a Plane, or as just generally being, you know, Pete Wentz's good friend back in the day, and a fixture of the neon scene pop explosion of 2008. Well, either way, we've all gathered here today with a common thread of being fascinated by Cobra Starship, and today I'm the dealer. I'm gonna give you the information of how the Starship got off the ground. Back in 2006, we're going to take a little deep dive into the origins of Cobra Starship, where they came from, how they got together. It's actually a pretty wild story. I know a lot of YouTubers put wild and crazy in the video title to get you to click, but there's actually some genuine craziness here, trust me. We're going to take a little deep dive into their debut CD 2006's While the City Sleeps, We Rule the Streets. Very cool. And we're just gonna take a little walk down, you know, Cobra Starship history lane and see where all this hullabaloo came from. So yes, welcome back to the Cozy Representative channel. It's me. Hi, how you doing? Do you like my Plain White Tees shirt? I wanted to say the Plain White Tees have a new album that just came out on Friday. I'm a big Plain White Tees fan. I know a lot of people just know that, you know, they're one-hit wonder band, whatever. They got good albums. I've always been repping Plain White Tees on this channel, and I love that band, man. And they had a new album that just came out last Friday, so go check it out. I'm repping my boys, Tom Higginson, DeMar Hamilton. Love the tees. Anyway, before we get into the Cobra Starship story, a quick thank you to everyone who supports this channel on Patreon. You guys know the deal. There's bonus content there. If you want to keep this train rolling, a little goes a long way. It really genuinely does help a lot, and thank you all to these people who support it. There's a link in the right down below, patreon.com/thecozyrepresentative if you want to help out. And yeah. And even thank you for just watching these videos in general. It means a lot. Anyways, on to the Cobra Starship origin story. Let's go.
We got two of them. We got this one. Then we got another one that I really wanted to make, which is a picture of a big, like, gay bondage guy with, like, big sunglasses and a mustache. And I wanted to say we do the fucking around here, but
your personal one says that though.
Instead, he went with the guy from the Ninja Turtles, right?
No, instead we did this one. We did the other one too, but the other one doesn't sell as well because all the parents are scared or they don't want to buy for their kids at the tour. But
as a parent, I would be scared of whatever Gabe was doing.
So the Cobra Starship tale begins with a man who's a fucking just a legend in the game named Gabe Saporta. This dude has been here before you. He will be here after you. He rolls deep. Gabe Saporta does. He was formerly originally of a band called Midtown. Before that, he was in a little smaller band called Humble Beginnings in the late 90s, and then that was sort of a little band, and then he joined a band called Midtown. They were active from 1998 to 2005, and they were kind of a lower tier band popularity-wise in the early 2000s pop-punk boom, which, was spearheaded by the likes of Blink-182, New Found Glory, Sum 41, as well as the not as mainstream popular but hugely influential in the scene Saves the Day. If you want to know how deep Gabe Saporta rolls, a couple fun facts. One, there's a picture of Gabe Saporta in the liner notes of Through Being Cool by Saves the Day. Fun fact. And also, he also helped discover New Found Glory and helped them get signed to Drive Through Records. And although Midtown were not as commercially popular as New Found Glory or obviously Blink-182 or whatever, they were there, and they were, I'd say, like, underground successful, you know what I mean? They were on Drive Through Records, and Drive Through featured New Found Glory and other bands like Phoenix TX and Homegrown, the Early November, Something Corporate, many others at the time. So here's a brief rundown on Midtown. So they put out their first record called Save the Girl, Lose the World in 2000, through Drive Through, very straightforward, melodic pop punk of that era. Think like MXPX meets maybe a little bit of Jawbreaker. Midtown then kept that melodic early 2000s American Pie era pop punk rollin' onto their second record, 2002's Living Well is the Best Revenge, which is a great album title. Their second record hit number 90 on the Billboard Top 200. That's pretty good. They were doing tons of touring, playing, relevant to the time festivals like Skate and Surf and Warped Tour. For their third record, the band got signed to major label Columbia Records. Midtown were hitting the big time, went into the studio with producer Butch Walker, and came out with their 2004 record called Forget What You Know. However, a mainstream breakthrough smash was not on the horizon for Midtown, unfortunately. While Forget What You Know is a super great record and is, in this humble YouTuber's opinion, very underrated and probably Midtown's best. Its experimental and moody nature did not lend well to a big major label smash, and as Midtown was touring on that record in 04 and into 05, the band began losing steam, and as the scene around them started changing, newer, fresher, younger bands started hitting the scene, leaving some of those old, to early 2000s drive-through records, pop punk / skate punk bands in the dust. Cue one of the last Midtown tours, the 2005 Fueled by Ramen and Friends tour, headlined by Fall Out Boy. Midtown played alongside fellow openers The Academy Is, Gym Class Heroes, and Silverstein. All of these bands, besides Midtown and Silverstein, were signed to record label Fueled by Ramen. Gym Class Heroes were signed to Fall Out Boy bassist Pete Wentz's new record label Decadence, which was an imprint of Fueled by Ramen. And Decadence and Fueled by Ramen at the time were quickly becoming the next big hype label in the scene, kind of becoming the next drive-through, if you will, the next hub for all the big pop punk / emo bands and the bands Fall Out Boy, Gym Class, and The Academy Is, and soon to be Panic at the Disco and the Hush Sound were forming a camaraderie with each other.
Hello, this is Guy Ripley here with the BBC World News here, interviewing my favourite pop star of all time, William Beckett. So he just touched my shoulder as well. I didn't even ask him to. William, tell me, how does it feel to be here at the VMAs?
Feels very good.
Delicious.
It was around this time, and I would even imagine amidst this tour, when Gabe struck up a friendship with these new Fueled by Ramen bands, bonded with the likes of Pete Wentz, William Beckett, and Travie McCoy, and not only made some new close friends, but I think Gabe was hip and music industry savvy enough to recognize that this whole fueled by ramen wave was going to be the next big thing, and he should jump into this movement by any means necessary. And after the major label failure and general lack of enthusiasm surrounding the third Midtown record, Forget What You Know, Midtown called it quits in 2005, which was somewhat memorialized by a song by the Academy Is called After the Last Midtown Show on their 2008 record Fast Times at Barrington High. So according to a Cobra Starship cover story from Alternative Press issue number 239 from June of 2008, which I am going to reference periodically through the rest of this video. It's a really great resource of information for early Cobra fun facts. The brief period in 2005 when Gabe Saporta was transitioning from the end of Midtown to the beginning of Cobra Starship is quite, let's say, fascinating. Maybe a little bit colorful is a word I would use too. Sketchy, even a little bit. So here's what this Alt Press article reports. Quote, Saporta then took the rest of his Columbia Records cash from Midtown and teamed up with several friends from high school who decided to partner with them on a restaurant. The union resulted in the Psychic Cafe, a successful Baltic European West Village eatery that mostly serves meat dishes, much to Saporta's chagrin. It's all good stuff, but I've only had the pasta, says the strict vegan, laughing. At first, Saporta's investments left him just as cash-strapped as ever, and from the last days of Midtown onward, he needed to find a way to pay the bills, don't we all? The singer turned to poker and started making a living working NYC's underground poker clubs. He got so good at it, he began averaging upward of $600 per week in cash. Amidst Gabe Saporta's poker-playing restaurateur, in August of 2005, Gabe decided to focus his attention back to music, and around the same time, he took a trip. This is a legendary story, by the way, and apparently it's a true story. He took a trip to the Arizona desert, just north of Sedona, where he went on a literal vision quest, and he smoked peyote, which I believe is that stuff where you fucking take it, or is peyote the one, there's stuff, what's the one where, ayahuasca is the one where you drink it and then you like throw up for 3 days, but peyote is something different or similar. I'm actually going to Google what peyote is. Peyote has been used by indigenous peoples in northern Mexico and the southwestern United States as part of their religious rites, okay? It's a cactus. I'm not really finding much information on what it does to you. Potent compounds in peyote such as mescaline cause it to have a hallucinogenic effect in humans. Okay, so he went out in the in the desert. Apparently he was with some Native American people. He smoked some peyote. I guess it makes you trip balls, and he was tripping balls in the desert, and he went on a vision quest. And apparently this experience led to him formulating the vision for his new project, which ended up being Cobra Starship. Gabe says in that same 2008 Alt Press article, quote, I had the revelation that music didn't have to be so serious. If the ideals that I wanted weren't there, it's okay. It's better to be able to do it for a living and make it, and have the thing you love be what you do. I feel like Fall Out Boy showed me that on that tour. Really cool. So everything was kind of coalescing for him at the time, with the aid of Fall Out Boy and peyote. So after Gabe's peyote trip, he rented a house in the Catskill Mountains in New York, very beautiful, learned how to use Pro Tools on his laptop, and spent a month writing material that would start to become the early demos for the first Cobra Starship record. So in the very early stages of Cobra Starship, when Cobra was just Gabe solo putting together some demos, it wasn't even like a real project getting off the ground yet, Crush Management, who was Midtown's management company, as well as the management of Gabe's new friends Cobra Starship and the Academy Is, hooked Gabe up with an opportunity to contribute a song to the soundtrack for the movie Snakes on a Plane. which was a goofy 2006 action horror film starring Samuel L. Jackson. I've never actually seen Snakes on a Plane. I feel like I should have seen that by now, but I never have. But it was it was a thing at the time.
Enough is enough! I have had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane!
Either way, Gabe jumped on the opportunity, and since the Cobra project was still just him at the time, he enlisted some friends to help him put together a song for the soundtrack. He got William Beckett from the Academy Is to sing the chorus. He got Maja Iverson from the band The Sounds to do some vocals as well. He got Travie McCoy from Gym Class Heroes to lay down a verse in the song. And with that, one of the first real Cobra Starship songs, I think the first one truly released, Bring It, Snakes on a Plane, was born.
Pop the cheap champagne, we're going down the flames. Hey, oh, I'm ready for it. Come on, bring it. Oh, I'm ready for it. Come on, bring it. Oh, I'm ready for it. Come on, bring it. Oh, I'm ready for it. Come on, bring it. Honey, I'm gonna make it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, these snakes is slithering with dollar signs in their eyes. What's up, so reptilian? This industry's venomous with cold blood and cinnamon. No need for nervousness, it's just a little turbulent.
And what resulted was an unlikely scene-level hit. And now if you look back in time at it, a true landmark moment in time, really big deal. Big crossover emo event, and it really got a lot of traction in the scene level at the time. It got a minor amount of mainstream attention, it kind of became this like minor hit song, due to its ties with the Snakes on a Plane movie, and it really was like the thing that put Cobra Starship on the map. And also, around this time, amidst the Snakes on a Plane song, as well as when, Cobra was still kind of just Gabe putting together early demos, I would be remiss not to mention Holla Back Boy. Gabe recorded a parody cover of Gwen Stefani's Holla Back Girl, put it on MySpace, and that kind of blew up a little bit at the time too, which gave, Cobra a little extra push.
Holy shit, it's about time you get off my dick. A few times you've been around that track, but your ass is still fat. Gonna stay like that, cause I ain't your holla back boy. I ain't your holla back boy.
Okay, so what's up next for you guys? Are you gonna like try to rock this further?
Well, Cobra Starship is my project, and these are my good friends from the Academy Is and the Sounds, and they basically helped me launch my project. And what's crazy is I had the name Cobra Starship already a year ago. The first thing I did was a spoof of Gwen Stefani's Holla Back Girl. I did Holla Back Boy, and then this whole thing came about. He heard about Snakes on a Plane because he has a song called Black Mamba, and we just brought this whole project together. And now my record's coming out October 10th. While the city sleeps, we rule the streets. And we're going on tour, first tour, Gym Class Heroes, Cobra Starship in the fall. Look out for it.
That is a lot of words, man.
Hey, man, I got it all down pat.
So after the success of the Snakes on a Plane song, this leads to Cobra Starship officially getting signed to Pete Wentz's record label Decadence, as well as Fueled by Ramen, because it was a subsidiary. It leads to Gabe starting to, find the right members to put together an official band for Cobra Starship. And it also leads to Gabe hooking up with goated scene pop production duo Sam and Sluggo to start officially recording and putting together the first Cobra Starship album. And Sam and Sluggo, if you watch my videos, you know who Sam and Sluggo are. In this neon world, they had the game shook. But this was actually, as far as what I've been able to read information-wise on the internet, this Cobra Starship album was their first collaborative project together. And Sam and Sluggo went on to work with pretty much every neon scene pop band. Boys Like Girls, We the Kings, Metro Station. They even did Fast Times at Barrington High by the Academy Is. Gym Class Heroes, Katy Perry. They worked, as far as the neon wave, they were heavy in the game. And this Cobra Starship album was kind of where they first started doing their thing. Anyways, so recording the album, Putting Together While the City Sleeps, We Rule the Streets, the first Cobra Starship record. Two things went down. Recording this record and also putting together a band for Cobra Starship, because when this was recorded, Cobra was pretty much just Gabe. Well, it was just Gabe, but if you look at the liner notes for this CD, something interesting, something that I've always found interesting. So in here we got this nice little picture of Gabe. Love that. Love the gold lettering on the black background too. Really, I've always loved the artwork on this one. Really just cool UFO, the girl tongue kissing the Cobra. Anyways, so in the liner notes, if you can see here, it says right above my pointer finger, see if I can get that to focus, it says additional instrumentation by the Starship Band. Right above my finger, you see that? And then there's some names, but then it's a picture of Gabe. So it was, at the time, Cobra was Gabe with additional instrumentation by the Starship Band. So let's get into the Starship Band, because once this album was recorded and came out and Cobra went on tour, after that, Cobra was always a full band and not just a solo project, but it was kind of more of a solo project on this album. But the band that Gabe put together amidst the recording of this album, let's get into it. So the first couple of people who Gabe recruited into his project, a couple guys by the names of Ryland Blackington and Alex Suarez, who at the time were part of a project called This Is Ivy League.
Listen to the lovely sound of London radio, surround sound stereo with me. You can feel the rhythm in your bones.
Now, This Is Ivy League were a lesser known indie folk pop, like kind of 60s-y sounding retro project formed in 2005 by longtime friends Ryland Blackington and Alex Suarez. Apparently those two first met each other back in high school in '97, and they formed their music project in 2005 when they were both living 10 minutes away from one another in Brooklyn, New York. Very quickly after they formed This Is Ivy League, who were initially just called Ivy League and had to add the This Is later for copyright issues, they got signed to an indie record label called 27 Records. This Is Ivy League put out two releases, first being the London Bridges EP in 2006, and that was when they were still just called Ivy League, as well as a full-length self-titled album in 2008, This Is Ivy League, and that one the band put together when they had downtime from touring with Cobra Starship. So Ryland and Alex Suarez got on Gabe Saporta's radar once they moved in to the same apartment building in Brooklyn as former Midtown drummer Rob Hitt. They got to know Rob Hitt, former Midtown drummer, and he introduced them to Gabe, and Gabe started jamming with Alex and Ryland, and they apparently liked the early Cobra demos, but they were, pretty dead set on keeping This Is Ivy League as their main project, so they initially didn't join the band. But as the story goes, several months later, after the Snakes on a Plane song was released, that song started kind of doing things, blowing up a little bit, and apparently Alex and Ryland called Gabe back and were like, hey, is there still a spot in that band? And Gabe said yes. So now we got Alex Suarez and Ryland Blackington, aka Guy Ripley. Those who are in the cut know. We'll get into Guy Ripley. I should do a whole video about Guy Ripley. That's a good idea. I'm going to make a mental note of that. They're now in the band, Cobra Starship. So Cobra Starship also picked up a drummer, a guy named Nate Navarro, who that name, Nate Navarro, it sounds like a neon superhero. Do you know what I mean? I've always loved that name, Nate Navarro. He knew Gabe from his days selling merch for the band Hidden in Plain View, as well as he was also a drum tech for the band Armor for Sleep. And then he graduated to Cobra Starship drummer. And originally, Gabe decided, you know what Cobra Starship needs? You know what my fun project needs? We need not a keyboard player. Keyboard players, that's a dime a dozen. Everyone has a keyboard player. We need a keytar player. A keytar. We need to bring back the keytar. It's like a crossover between a keyboard and a guitar. It's a keyboard that you wear. Very 80s, very... You know what Cobra Starship was? Cobra Starship was a fashion over function band. There is no way that playing a keytar wrapped around your shoulder is any easier or more convenient than playing a keyboard. I'm sure playing a keyboard is actually, but no, Gabe was like, we need to have a girl playing the keytar. So maybe that was part of Gabe's vision and his peyote quest. I don't know. But initially, Gabe found a young woman named Elisa Schwartz to join the band. I don't know exactly where she came from, but she was, in the lineup, she was an OG member of Cobra Starship. She was, listed on the first album, and she was on early Cobra Starship tours, but she got kicked out of the band very quickly. And here's what Gabe had to say about it from that AP article. Quote, "She just didn't get it. She'd never even been to a show before. She needed a lot of attention. And when she didn't get it, she'd bring anyone from the street onto the bus. She wouldn't show up for sound check. She wouldn't be responsible for her stuff. No one wants to be cleaning up after someone or taking care of someone else's gear." So, according to Gabe, a little bit of a diva there. Elisa actually responded in an MTV article which was covering her solo project that she embarked on after leaving Cobra Starship, and she kind of responded to that and said, "When I left Cobra, they said I'd let people on the tour bus and have dance parties with them, and I'd do it again," she said. "If you have fans and they want to party with you, then that's a good thing." So she's owning up to it. I like that, Elisa. Yeah, I don't know. You know what's pretty fascinating, though? Elisa Schwartz has actually made quite a name for herself following her departure from Cobra Starship. Her showbiz name is now Elisa Jordana. She's actually a radio and TV personality now, and she has a Wikipedia page. She worked on the Howard Stern show for quite a bit. My favorite fun fact about Elisa is she was recently briefly engaged to Andy Dick. I don't need to go into detail on Andy Dick, but I don't believe they are together anymore, which is good for her. Dodged a bullet there, girl. Get away from that man. But yeah, Elisa Jordana of the Howard Stern show was once Elisa Schwartz, original keytar player for Cobra Starship. Fascinating. But yeah, she did get kicked out of the band pretty quickly, and they replaced her with someone named Vicky T. And we're gonna save Vicky T. I'll just say it. I hate saying stuff that I'm gonna do in the future, but I am gonna make some more videos about Cobra Starship, about like their next couple albums. We're gonna get into Vicky T. Vicky T, that's a whole onion to whittle down and unwrap in its own right. So we're gonna save Vicky T for the next time I make a Cobra Starship video. Anyways, so the Starship band has been put together. We got Gabe, we got Ryland Blackington, we got Alex Suarez, we got Nate Navarro, and we got Elisa Schwartz. And on October 10th of 2006, the record, "While the City Sleeps, We Rule the Streets," hits the shelves. Pretty fucking exciting. And I have a copy here that I bought all the way back in 2007, so good shit. I don't know if you can even see it. There's the disc there. Very neat, very neat. Like I said, I love the art direction on this, man. Very cool. Really matches the music. It's like a dance pop record, but there's a lot of like different kinds of music though going on this album. It's not just like a pop album. It's not a vapid album either. It's not like dumb or stupid. It's kind of like dance punk. You know what I mean? Like club punk. Like, it's cool. I don't know. there's a lot of layers, I guess, and like different sounds going on here, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And there's a lot of hidden bangers on this record, too. Cobra Starship, you know, they have their big radio songs that they're known for. They even have their kind of smaller scene hits that they're known for. But if there's one thing that Cobra Starship has, it's hidden bangers, my friends. Songs like Keep It Simple, songs like It's Amateur Night at the Apollo Creed, the Ballad of Big Papa and Diamond Girl, You Can't Be Missed If You Never Go Away, Pop Punk Is So '05. I basically just named every song on this album, but really good record all the way through. Really fun, really interesting music, you know. It's you know, it's like dance pop, dance punk, but I don't know, Gabe kind of put together a vibe and almost a genre of his own on this thing, you know what I mean? Just really cool stuff. I really love this record. It's really holds a special place in my heart, you know what I mean? So this album did chart a little bit, believe it or not. It hit 125 on the Billboard 200, which, I mean, I guess pretty low, but the fact that a debut album charted on the Billboard 200 at all is a feat in itself, you know what I mean? So that's cool, but it did hit number 7 on the US Independent Albums chart and also hit number 1 on the Heat Seekers chart, which the Heat Seekers chart is basically a chart for tracking new up-and-coming artists, so this should hit number 1. So pretty damn good. So real quick, the touring cycle that Cobra Starship did for this album, because once this album came out, the band was together and they hit the road touring. Cobra Starship was now a full-time professional touring band. The first tour they went out on in September of '06, opening up for Gym Class Heroes. It was their headlining tour called the Jerry's Kids Short Bus Tour. Not exactly a very PC tour title there, but it was 2006. With fellow openers Patent Pending as well as Hangar 18. After that, God, I don't know how Gabe scored this. I mean, you want to talk about Gabe Saporta being a moneymaker and a move shaker. The second Cobra Starship tour in October and November of '06, the Welcome to the Universe tour, which was headlined by 30 Seconds to Mars. Ever heard of them? With Head Automatica as direct support. Don't know how Gabe pulled this off. Part of me thinks that it might have been... So Head Automatica was Daryl Palumbo of Glassjaw, who I'm pretty sure was boys with Gabe back in the day. You know, hardcore scene, East Coast hardcore roots. Maybe he brought Gabe on. I don't know. Maybe Jared Leto was really feeling the Snakes on a Plane song. Maybe Crush Management came in clutch and had something to do with that. I don't know. Pretty cool, though. They were on the whole tour. February of '07, Cobra Starship went out on a tour with Boys Like Girls and Cartel. And that summer, another big tour, they went out on an arena tour with Fall Out Boy, the Honda Civic Tour 2007, with Plus 44, The Academy Is, and Texas rapper Paul Wall. And fun fact, I attended the Boston date of the Honda Civic Tour 07. And it was awesome. Yeah, I was there. Yeah, I'm kind of old. Anyways, guys, that pretty much wraps it up. That was my little deep dive into the first Cobra Starship record and the origins of this band. Awesome album. Some seriously slept-on material on this one. The kids are all fucked up. The whole album is good. If you're into dancey, fun, like, I would almost call this, like, smart pop music, you know? It's not just like, it's not like dumb, vapid party pop. That's, I feel like, what a lot of people peg Cobra Starship as, is like stupid neon shit, but like, there's a lot of good stuff happening, like not dumb music happening on this CD, and there's a lot of rock, there's guitars, you know, there's softer songs, there's some emotion going down, and even the poppier songs are like, you know, pulling from cool influences. You know what I mean? It's like a cool, like 2006, like Brooklyn, like Williamsburg hipster, like it's more of a hipster, like indie sleaze kind of thing going on here in early Cobra Starship. You know what I mean? As opposed to like stupid scene whatever. Well, not stupid. You know what I mean? Not like it's not like Breathe Carolina, and no shade to them, but it's like more of like a a Brooklyn hipster thing as opposed to like Warped Tour scene vomit kind of thing. I don't know. You guys know what I'm talking about. You guys know what I'm talking about. Anyways, much love to you guys. Thank you for watching. Shout out to Cobra Starship, Gabe, Ryland, Alex, Victoria, Elisa, Nate Navarro, you guys all rock. And I will be covering more of the Cobra Starship story in the future. I don't know if... I'm kind of doing things a little bit differently on the channel lately as far as how I'm releasing stuff, so I don't... This isn't really like the part 1 of a series, and the next video is going to come next. I'm going to do another installment of this soon, but there might be, there will be some stuff before it. I'll just say that. So, but it will be coming sooner rather than later, and I seriously mean that. So anyways, thank you all for tuning in. I love you. I'm going to cut it off there. I hope you all have a good night. It's been your man, Cozy. Peace out.